that first generation that came out of Egypt, they had not been transformed by the renewing of their minds. Only a few of them, Joshua, Caleb, they had got a true picture of the living God, the view that he'd given them of himself. And therefore, Joshua and Caleb weren't frightened of the giants. It mattered a great deal what vision of God they had. In Numbers 14, when Joshua is reporting back, the people couldn't stop focusing on the giants, and they were overcome with fear because of it. But Joshua, he's focusing on the Lord God, who was traveling with them, the divine warrior who would go to fight for them. And he just says, look, their protection, the giants and their protection is removed from them. The Lord is with us. Don't fear them. So because Joshua and Caleb had a true view of the living God, they didn't fear the giants. And then Caleb later, when remember he's 80s, he takes a mountain full of them on. How can he do that? How would he even think of doing such a thing? Because he had not created his own image of God. Standing with the Lord God, seated with him in the highest kind of, and then Joshua and Caleb sitting with the living God, they were able to look down on the tiny Canaanite giants. But the rest of that first generation, they're looking up at them. They're like, oh, look how big the giants are. They're so busy looking up at them that they had stopped seeing the glorious Lord God who was traveling with them in a pillar of cloud and fire that connected the heavens and the earth together, far higher than any of these little giants. And yet they're not looking. They only needed to turn around and see the huge pillar of cloud and fire and think, that's big. But they're not doing that. They're saying, oh, look at these giants. They're really big. Well, they're big if you look at them like that. They're tiny compared to this. So there's an important background to this intense concern about making images of God Most High. It wasn't theoretical. If you read the books of Moses, it's not as if, well, who's going to do that? Let's turn back to Exodus 32 from verse 1 to see what happened. This was not theoretical. Just a few weeks before, let's find out what happened. That first generation had in fact made their own image of the Lord God. So Exodus 32 from verse 1 says, when the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what's happened to him. Aaron answered them, take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing. Bring them to me. So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron.